What is going on, folks? It's your boy Luke here, Arm All Star 100, coming at you with a brand new LEGO Star Wars alternate build video. Today, we are taking a look at my build for set 75279, the LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar from 2020. This set retails for $40 US, includes 311 pieces, and features 24 micro builds and minifigures. This advent calendar is definitely one of the better ones we've seen in years past. We have little fun builds from all eras of the Skywalker saga. Each of the three trilogies is featured, as well as builds from The Mandalorian and Rogue One. This year we have a very solid minifigure collection featuring probably the two most favorite. We have Darth Vader in his Christmas sweater, as well as Poe Dameron rocking a Christmas sweater of his home with a nice warm cup of joe, as well as we have a Luke Skywalker figure, a Rey Skywalker figure, and a very nice inclusion of a Sith Trooper, a Stormtrooper, and a nice little B-1 battle droid with a pretty solid gunmetal gray blaster as opposed to black. Also featured in this set, we have a Porg, we got the one and only Dio, and a nice little pit droid included. And now, obviously, it is 2021. I wish everyone a safe and happy new year, but the holidays are officially over. So what are you going to do with all of these micro builds? Are you just going to put them and display them on a shelf? I don't think so, folks. Today, I'm going to show you some fun alternate builds that you could use from pieces in this set to make some fun new creations. Real quick, before I jump into these builds, I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone watching the video and checking out my channel. I really appreciate the support. If you are new, consider hitting that subscribe button. I do a lot of these alternate builds, as well as some other fun and awesome LEGO content on the channel. These alternate builds are a lot of fun, but they do take a lot of work. Let me know what you think of this video by dropping a like down below and showing your support. It goes a long way. Alright, and without further ado, let's jump right into these builds. Alright, folks, and here is a look at everything included in this alternate build. As you can see, I kept the minifigures as well as some of the builds from the advent calendar as they were, but I decided to go ahead and make a few creations of my own. Alright, folks, and here is a better look at the 6 main builds featured in this alternate build. On the ends there, we have a couple of dueling speeders with some different color variations, as well as a nice mounted walker turret cannon thing there. In the middle, I have a couple of Dark Trooper inspired builds, and finally, last but certainly not least, I have a Gundam inspired mech build. So let's go ahead, jump right in, and take a look at what each of these builds has to offer. Alright, folks, and first up we will take a look at these dueling speeders I mentioned. So, like I said, I designed 2 speeders with a couple different color variations. The first one here being more of a good guy speeder by the white and tan color variations I used. As you can see, I got Rey Skywalker squatted up in there. It's a nice little build, I think. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have a light bluish gray and black color scheme here with our evil red Sith Trooper piloting this bad boy. Just some nice detail all around. Let's take a look at these 2 speeders without any minifigures. Alright, and now here are our speeders without any minifigures piloting them, and let's go ahead and take a look at our black and gray one here first. So, yes, nothing too crazy going on, just a nice, fun little speeder build. I think it turned out pretty sleek. As you can see on the bottom there, that's kind of what I used to base the build off. A couple of those sloped plates to give it a nice little curvature there, especially in the center. I like the way that these 2 angles meet there. Pretty neat. Alright, and at the front, you can kind of see I went with a sort of studs not on top technique there with a couple blasters on the side and a nice little windshield to cover our pilot. I guess it should be noted that with both of these speeders, if you take a look at the pilot compartment, there is actually no little handlebars or control panels. You just kind of got to put your minifigures in there and use your imagination to do the rest. So for the rest of the build here, at the back, a little bit more detail, some nice different designs of these smaller pieces that I included. I don't know, nothing too crazy, as I've said multiple times throughout the video. Just, I like the way it turned out at the back there. I used that inverted bowl piece as well as that dome piece with the 1x2 trans blue plate to give it a little bit of an engine feel. And as these speeders are meant to do, we'll move this guy out of frame with this bad boy right here. Once again, kind of use those sloped plate pieces to give it a pretty similar design. We'll take a look at these side by side. You can see that's kind of the base for these builds, those triangle sloped plates and these smaller ones as well. So difference here with this one, obviously the color scheme focused on using a white and tan color design, but once again we have a pretty similar front there. As you can see, I used those 1x4 long sloped bricks, I think they're called. Excuse my lack of vocabulary, but yeah, once again we got some nice windshield pieces to cover our pilot and a couple pieces on the side there for a little extra detail. Moving on to the back of the build, as we can see on either side, I focused on making this build very much symmetrical as most speeders are. Similar with this one, it's pretty much the same on both sides, but that's kind of what I like to go for in these smaller builds. So yeah, using those triangle pieces, I guess again, I mounted a couple of mounted blasters. Yep, that's what I did, folks, believe it or not, and I think it looks pretty cool. Very simple design here with just that bar piece, this pin stuck on there, stuck through that 1x2 rounded plate piece you can kind of see, and we got some little spikes there all around the back here. I gotta say, I am very pleased with the way that this engine turned out, using this I don't know what that piece is called, but a couple of trans blue studs inside of there, as well as a nice tan dome piece to cap it off. Alright folks, and moving right along, we will take a look at my mounted Walker turret here. So as you can see, this entire build is based off that 3x3 dark bluish gray piece that acts as the base, and then mounted on there I have used these 4 curved pieces to kind of act as legs, using studs on the top of those pieces to give it a little bit of mobility. You can kind of angle it however you want and look the way that you think is best. And without the minifigure there, we get a better look at the interior, I suppose you can call it, where our gunner sits there. We'll take a look, pop off this cannon, get a nice close look at it. So as you can see, I based it off that light bluish gray piece. I don't know what that's called, but we got some nice details on the sides there, on the front, and as always, a nice little windshield there to cover our gunner. So yeah, as you can see, I included that little plate there just to act as a little bit of armor for the build. And on the side here, I tried to utilize a little bit of greebling. I guess that's a little generous calling this greebling, but I think it looks pretty cool just with the grill piece there, some studs, clips, and a lightsaber hilt to give it a nice little bit of detail. Alright, and next up we have certainly the most strange inclusion to this alternate build. We have a Gundam inspired mech. Yeah, that's what we're going to call this bad boy. So taking a look 360 degrees, I did what I could here. This was the last build that I made. I kind of wanted to throw in these white pieces here, and this is kind of what I came up with. So we'll go ahead, pop this guy's arm off. And while we do that, we'll take a look at his little blaster there. Just a nice combination of dark bluish gray pieces and clips to kind of give it a nice blaster, as well as those translucent orange cheese slope pieces. So taking a look at the side, you can kind of see the way that I built this using these bricks with the studs shooting out that you can stick other pieces onto. Wow, I'm really killing this description. But yeah, so as you can see for the legs there, similar to how the arms are designed, I used these 1x2 clip bar piece things and stuck them on the sides there, added a little bit of armor and detail on the legs, as well as I threw on these 1x2 dark red pieces to give it a little bit more stabilization so it's not going to fall backwards. Taking a look at the other side here, once again, as I did with the other side, I mounted the arm just like that, and on this one I included what I'm going to be calling a little bit of a fist, I guess. Our Gundam here uses his translucent clear fist there to punch the crap out of some bad guys. Alright, and here he is, all back together. We'll take a look at the back here. I decided to use those yellow cylinder pieces to kind of give it a little bit of a jetpack so this guy can fly around and punch the crap out of some bad guys with his fist there. So yeah, just a little back build here and a way to kind of even it out so he's not jutting out the front. It gives him more of a balanced look, I think. And finally, the head up top here is just that red inverted piece, whatever, with a couple of studs and a nice little tile on for some extra detail. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we have my favorite part of this alternate build. We have two, count them, two identical, I'm calling them Dark Trooper inspired droid soldiers. So yeah, as you can see, I kind of went for a little mini, I guess you could call it a mech. It's just a humanoid structure. So yeah, there's two of them. Like I said, they are identical. They have the exact same pieces all throughout, and it was a fun little challenge using the pieces that I had and making two identical designs that I think turned out pretty cool. So we'll go ahead, take a look at his blaster here. As you can see, you can remove this bad boy. It is just a fun little build here. Once again, they are identical on both of our Dark Troopers, I'm going to call them, just using some light bluish gray pieces to give it a little cool gun design. So without that in the way, let's take a look at our Dark Troopers here. Alright, and looking at it head on, you can see kind of the design choices that I decided to go with. We'll start at the legs here using those 1x1 dark red cylinders, as well as a stud and a dark red plate on either side for his feet so he can stand up. Also, we got a little bit of joint mobility here. I used this bar piece there, so you stick it in the bottom just like that into that open stud, and you got yourself some legs that can move around and walk around, able to pose and look pretty cool. On the back, I went with this 1x2 light bluish gray tile. Like I said, identical on both of our bad boys here, but while we're on the side, we'll take a look at the arms. Once again, I decided to give the build a little bit of mobility here. Excuse that, you didn't see anything. There we go. You can twist and turn, have this guy move his arms all the way around on either side there. So yeah, obviously that arm I usually save for the blaster, just like so, and the other arm, there's a little clip there to act as another hand. On the top we have the head, which is a pin kind of with a stud on top, that piece with some trans dark clear pieces on both sides of the head. Very nice. Like I said, this is probably my favorite part of the build here, these two droids. I think they both turned out really well, and I'm very happy with what I was able to do with the pieces I had available. Alright, and real quick, I did just want to show off, I didn't use every single build from the advent calendar. I kept a couple of them, notably the Gonk Droid Snowman, just because he's a cutie, as well as the Porg, and I couldn't bring myself to take apart the Pit Droid completely, just because he is so adorable. So I had to use this little piece to make both of the Dark Troopers, so I grabbed an extra one from my collection, and I'm going to rebuild him back up for the end of the video. Also, cute little Geo here, and I forgot to mention I made this little kind of plasma pistol inspired blaster here with some blue pieces and some trans yellow pieces. And here are the extra pieces left over that I wasn't able to include in any of today's builds, but go ahead, make something of your own with these, I dare you. Alright folks, and there you have it, one final look at my complete alternate build here with the other minifigures and builds that I didn't take apart included. Once again, thank you for sticking with the video, watching it to this point. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think of my alternate build in the comments below. And once again, if you are new here, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel for some more awesome LEGO related content. Also, before we close out, I do have one last request. Please let me know what LEGO sets you would like to see me make alternate builds for in the future. leave that in the comments below. I will pin a comment and you can reply to that directly with some recommendations. So, as always, if you're taking off before the build tutorial here, I wish once again a very happy and safe new year to all. And as always, have a great day. We'll see you next time. Peace.